Greetings, individuals interested in New Japan wrestling of an Oriental persuasion. I'm Mike.
Greetings,
Byron.
Greetings, young lions.
We are here to talk about Night 2 of the G1 Climax. This was the opening night for Block B, which is, in my opinion, the more stacked block. I mean, we had a main... let's put it this way. We had Okada not in the main event. I think that says enough. Mm-hmm. You got Omega in there. You've got Suzuki, which was the main event for this evening. And then you've got Okada on top of that. You got Mike Elgin on top of that. You've got Juice Robinson on top of that. Pretty freaking stacked block. So we open up with Zack Sabre Jr. and Desperado representing Suzuki Gun against Kota Ibushi and Hirai Kawada.
Correct.
I enjoyed this. I thought actually they did a good job of kind of building Kawada to being something other than just your standalone young lion, to be honest.
Yeah, they definitely let him have the majority of the spotlight between the four of them. Ibushi performed very well, but he didn't really do anything up, over the top or crazy. So he was definitely playing the game and letting Kawada have himself a time, and sold really well, did a good comeback, and then made the pin.
This kid's not terribly physically impressive in any way. Like, he's kind of small, not particularly allowed to look at, but he's getting it. He really is getting it.
Yeah, I mean, he's in this sort of, he's taller than Time Bomb, but he's of a similar build. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys in there that aren't terribly physically impressive. Like Naito, if you were past Naito on the street and he didn't have his hair dyed, you just walk right past him.
I just mean there's a couple of young lions right now that are like really physically eye-catching. Hinare, who's the New Zealand guy, for example, as well as his name is eluding me, but the guy Suzuki basically beat up.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Suzuki decided he was going to lay out the young lion that happens to have about 150 pounds of muscle on him just to prove that he can, to be a piece of shit.
And then there's the kind of dopey-looking guy, but he's pretty big, Otka or whatever.
Otka, I think so, yeah. You'll see him a lot at ringside. He's pretty easy to spot.
Yep. That's what I mean. They stand out a little bit more than Kawada, but... honestly, Kawada might be the best kind of wrestler of the bunch. Like, his understanding of psychology and ability to tell a story in the ring.
Yeah, I would say that you're not wrong. Although they've, the big muscly guy whose name escapes both of us, if he's ever listed on the card, we know immediately who he is. But, his name escapes me. He may be better, but he's definitely playing to that big, strong monster type, so he doesn't have to do a whole lot of selling the way that Kawada does. So
that could definitely be the case.
It would be interesting.
I mean, for sure, you get an easier ride to a degree as a big guy, and if you can pick up the skills while having that easy ride, you're money. And I think that he has some of it. I think Hinare also is going to have a little bit of it, because he's also he's a young lion gaijin, which is always interesting. And we'll see if he does something, because I think he could be not Bad Luck Fale, but something in that mold.
Bad Luck Fale.
Then we had Yuji Nagata, Togi Makabe, and Tiger Mask 4 versus Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto, and Gato, and I was surprised by the result of this match.
Yeah, did not see who ate the pin on this. Was it Goto?
It was wasn't it Gato?
Oh no, it was Gato. Yeah, because we were joking like, well, who's going to book himself to eat the pin 2 nights in a row? And he did.
That
was pretty awesome.
So
he's the anti-Dusty.
Yeah, kind of one of the few examples of a boy being the booker, and it's not really getting in the way of anything.
Not at all.
And so that was good work. Not the last we'd say of Ghetto on the night. No. We'll talk about that later. This was a good match. Nothing really particularly to talk about. It was a couple of older dudes, for the most part, getting their stuff in. No one I consider young in this match, anyways.
No. I think the median age is about 42.
I think it might be higher.
Well, Ishii is 40, what do we say, 45? No, he's not 45, he's about 40.
41. 41.
41, there you go. Geto's older. Goto, I believe, is younger. And then everybody
he's in
else...
his late 30s, so I mean, he's younger for this group, but not young.
Yeah. Tiger Mask is the old man of the group, followed by Nagata, I believe. And then Makabe, I'm pretty sure, is 43 or 44.
He's older than Ishii, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, ironically, looks younger.
Yeah. Ishii, there was some really good stuff between Makabe and Ishii. They went toe-to-toe a lot. They did the Unchained King.
They were even brawling at the end of the match on the outside.
Yeah, they were brawling to the back and all kinds of shenanigans. It was enjoyable.
We're going to get them in night 3 matching up against each other in A block action, so that's going to be fun.
True?
I believe that's the case.
I'm looking at a Weeb page right now.
I believe it's those two facing off and Goto versus Nagata.
Next show will be Naito versus Yoshi Hash Browns, Tanahashi versus The Fail, Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr., Makabe versus Ishii, Nagata versus Goto. So, I mean, I'm not really looking forward to Nagata versus Goto, but
I am.
Not going to be bad.
Yeah, I remember though. Remember, I said I'm really looking forward to seeing Nagato versus Goto, and then I realized, they're having that on the next night. That's going to be great.
Yeah, there you go.
And Ishii, Makabe, I'm always down for.
Oh, and we're going to have Tenzan. We're going to have Tenkozy and Elgin versus my boy, heavyweight champion of comedy, Toru Yano, and 2 other scrubs named Geto and Okada.
That's going to be good.
That's going to be a thing.
Then we had Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens versus Hiroshi Tanahashi and David Finlay.
Bad Luck Fale knocked out the announcer again. Mm-hmm. It's been my favorite little tiny, other than Suzuki, we'll get to that later, or was it not Suzuki? Who is it that's going after? Oh, it's the LIJ going
Naito specifically, yeah.
Yeah, going after Cyrus, a.k.a. Don Callis, for people not in the know.
Remember, Suzuki came out the other entranceway. And Kevin Kelly's like, I'm really happy that Suzuki's coming out on that side.
Yeah. But Bad Luck has been chasing the ring announcer. Like, what's it been, like 4 or 5 months where he's been just...
Oh, more than that. I think we're up to like a year of doing this, to be honest.
Well, he's been teasing, like, he's been chasing the guy or just, like, making him flinch and ghosting him, and then eventually got around to just chasing him right out of the ring before he can announce Bad Luck's name, to the point where he'll let him say... He'll get about halfway through Luck, and then just knocks the guy out. I don't understand why. I think it's funny if this was Suzuki doing it. I think he's a piece of shit. But
the announcer mispronounced Bad Luck Fale's name for like a solid month.
Oh, okay.
And Fale took it well for a while. Then just started. That's when he just started to try and hit him.
Nice. I do like that. I like it when weird stuff crosses over into kayfabe.
This was nothing special either. Honestly, the undercard for this particular night was a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, and by nothing special, I mean this could have main evented any Raw.
Well, I don't know about that, because honestly, we both don't really care for Chase Owens, and Tanahashi working injured is not super exciting.
No, Finlay did a really good job. Fale did a really good job. Chase Owens was acceptable and Tanahashi did a really good job around having to sell what is probably a very minor injury, and he should just take a month off. But what are you going to do?
Yeah. But he don't want to.
Yeah.
And in this one, Finlay ate the pin, which, you know, again, it was either Owens or Finlay who were going to eat the pin.
Correct.
But they continue the storyline of working on Tanahashi's arm, which if the payoff isn't him being put out of the tournament, I don't know what it is. Like, it just causes him to go like winless or something? That could be.
I guess. The other part of it could be that they will actually push him to win the tournament and overcome all of the odds.
Not sure I like that one.
No, it's too early and it's too horrific. I don't. If they are to push it like that, it's like Roman Reigns level of stupid booking. And
like, that's the problem. Is you shouldn't be able to win a tournament with a torn bicep.
Yeah.
Individual match, sure, do that like the last match or something. Mm-hmm. But to go through a tournament and actually accumulate enough points to get to the finals and then win the finals, all the while with a air quotes torn bicep. That's too much. Yeah, that's WWE trying to make a face style booking, which really just winds up burying everyone else.
Yeah, and makes you look dumb because no one's really interested. It'd be like if John Cena was to have a broken leg and somehow won the King of the Ring while hobbling around on one leg and doing moonsaults.
Then we had Tetsuya Naito and Bushi versus Yoshihashi and Jendo.
Right.
This was pretty interesting because you got the very rare face Pearl Harbor.
That was awesome. Hashi just went right after him, and Jendo's like, well, I'm used to this. Let's just go.
This is my style!
This is how we do things.
So we got a little bit of the old the heel chaos stable on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yoshihashi just went right out. Was it Bushi went right after, or was it Naito?
No, he went after Naito.
Okay, because
Jendo just kind of went, alright, I'll throw Bushi out there.
Yeah, Jendo was just like, well, I'm used to this. Let's do this. I can't remember. Didn't they say that Naito had said some shit in the press? And
Naito had said that Yoshihashi doesn't belong in the G1 Climax, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Much like, and he's been doing this with, like, pretty much everyone, of course, because we had the similar storyline with, of course, Kota Ibushi going into their first match.
It's a similar point about somewhat similar circumstances, because Ibushi's really a freelancer. And isn't really dedicated to New Japan. Yoshihashi is dedicated to New Japan, but he's not really. He's like a real mid card guy, not even an upper.
Well, never had a title. We've been kind of going on about that. That at some point, I think they got to put a title on him to legitimize him a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah. I mean, he's not going after like the Omegas and the Okadas of the world, of course, but he has cut a couple of we'll call them shooty-esque promos on a number of the people in both the A block and the B block. So there's going to be some hard feelings with Naito. This is, of course, also where Naito went after Cyrus the Virus after the match, because, of course. Cyrus has been all over Kenny Omega's nuts, like deep in the nutsack region of the Winnipeg Mafia. And Naito, I guess, is taking some exception to that. I believe basically the deal is that both Lij and Suzuki-gun have taken somewhat of an exception to Callus's being the heel commentator and really heavily favoring Bullet Club.
Yeah, exactly.
So they went. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see if Suzuki goes after him at some point as well, but Naito, of course, going after him here.
Yeah, and he stole on the way down to the ring, he snatched his water bottle and gave it to the ring announcer.
Yeah.
This is for you. And then the ring announcer gave it to one of the young lions, and then the young lion gave it back to Cyrus.
That was like Naito's reaction to them getting the water bottle back. It was like, I don't really care enough to stop you, but he gave the ring announcer a look that said, like, this could be a problem.
And we got to see a Busharuni during the match, so that's all good. Bushi coming down wearing the Shark Boy tribute mask, which I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Very classy. Very classy, very shell yeah. And then, surprisingly enough, we didn't really get an intermission on this show. We just went right into the B block matches. Yeah,
this match was all right. I don't
Juice
remember.
Robinson, Satoshi Kojima.
Yeah. The juice was in fact loose. The juice was not contained.
I like the storyline that Kojima, of course, is a big part of what Juice is. He's been a big coach for him, mentor, as you will.
Hey.
And there were moments where it seemed like Juice almost hesitated putting 100% into things because of that. So it's a good storytelling. But he came over and at the end landed a very sweet Pulp Friction.
Yeah, it was.
Get the win.
There was the if anybody's not familiar, the Pulp Friction is Juice Robinson's finisher, and it is the unprettier, aka Kill Switch, aka I'm sure there's another name for it, but it's the Christian's finisher, and he does. That was the
basically best. A face buster for all intents and purposes.
That was the best executed version of that move I've ever seen, bar none. Like, Christian never really Christian using it didn't really do anything.
It didn't really work because he was always smaller than the dude he was doing it to.
And he always went, like, the guy always went down faster than Christian did, or vice versa. He never timed it well. This was timed perfectly, looked like a legit move, looked good, looked great. The only other person I've seen hit it anywhere close to being this good was Tyler Breeze.
Mm-hmm. Then we had Tama Tonga, Michael Elgin.
Woo!
This one was really good, but then it got weird. It got a little weird.
Do tell.
So what the finish was basically was Elgin went up top for a Super Death Valley driver. Apparently, that's what this recap is calling it.
Yeah.
And it got turned into a stun gun or gun stun in midair. The problem was it happened so close to the ground that it feels like Tama Tonga should have still taken by far more punishment off the landing than Elgin did. So I kind of think this is a case of like something that seemed really good on paper. Like picture for a moment the gun stun reversal off of a Super Death Valley driver. It seems pretty awesome, but I don't know if really. I think there may be just too many moving parts in there to really get this to work in a manner that looks great when you do it.
Yeah, it had to be executed definitely differently. What it looked like, and I was totally confused because what it looked like was Elgin had him up on the shoulders for a Death Valley driver, and then swung him out in front of himself, which looked like a weirdly executed vertical, like front landing vertical suplex.
Almost kind of like a Falcon Arrow, even.
Yeah, it was like a Falcon Arrow that he didn't sit. It was a non-sit out Falcon Arrow. Is exactly what it looked like. So it looked like Elgin just blasted him into the ground and then somehow lost. I didn't understand, and it wasn't executed very well, and that detracted from the match. But the match itself was very good. So that's, I mean, if I was to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like a 3.5 because it should have been like a 4, but basically a whole like half a star got ripped out of there because the finish was just not appropriate.
I'd probably go a little bit lower than that. I find that, and I've seen this before with Elgin working with the GOD guys, is there does seem to be some kind of slight disconnect between when they get in the ring.
Yeah.
I noticed that, for example, in the 6-man match where Elgin was with War Machine against GOD, and was it was Hangman Page, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it was Page. But same kind of thing happened there, where when he's working with the Tongans, I don't know. There's something missing. I don't know if it's just a bad combination of styles, or there's some personal issue between them, even something. I don't know.
I don't know. I always get the impression that Tongaloa has personal issues with a lot of people because he's kind of new. I don't know how long has he been in the business? Like 6 years or something?
6 years, 7 years, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, whereas like Elgin's been doing things for 15 years-ish or something like that.
I mean, Tama Tonga has been in the business a real long time, too. I mean,
yeah.
There is no reason that these guys shouldn't have a really good match. And don't get me wrong, this was good. I would say 3 3.25. But I feel like each of these guys individually have given me much better matches than this. And you would think putting them together would produce just something better.
Yeah, I just think that there's some resentment towards Tongaloa because he's at such a position, and having won the titles that he's won at the small amount, relatively short amount of time he's been in the business, and I think that he resents other people resenting him. That's just the impression I get. It may not be accurate. It may not be anywhere near the truth. So that's just a weird feeling I get watching him in the ring against guys like Makabe and stuff like that.
It's possible. There may be something to that. Then we had our comedy spot of the day, Okada versus Toru Yano.
Yeah, boy. This was a great match.
This was, on a technical level, this was nothing. But on a comedy level, this was fantastic.
All of the things.
They did, of course, the gimmick with Yano trying to get the pads off the corners, and Okada tying them back on with like a double knot.
No, he did that before Yano even went near a pad. They were doing the break spot, and Okada smacked him anyway. Or I can't remember. There was a couple of instances where they hit the ropes and Yano was up against the ropes, and one of them was the break. And at some point, Yano got punched anyway because Okada's not playing that game. Sent him up to the outside, and as he was beating his ass around the ring, he stopped and tied one of the bottom lanyards on tighter and moved on. I was wondering if they just continue around the ring doing that and having him fasten all of the things, but it did not happen.
Did not quite go that far. Also, of course, we had Jetto and Geto at ringside managing each of them. So, complete player management.
Yeah, Geto was, of course, managing your boy Okada, and Jetto was managing Yano for some reason, just because Yano decided to sublimely master thief a complete player for
I imagine Jetto regrets the decision because he did eat a low blow from his own client.
So they were schmozzing around on the outside, and Yano's famous for doing the double uppercut to the nuts. And Jado was standing next to Okada, so Jado, being his manager, he just reflexively hit both guys with the uppercut to the nuts. And Jado was selling it like a motherfucker, right in the ding-ding, as Mr. Carino would have said.
We got a Carino shout out there as well, yeah.
Yeah, Carino, very OP, and Jado's ding-ding is massive, so a lot of selling going on there. And later, like after the match was done, Jado, you could see Jado go over and was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Also hit the inverted atomic drop on Geto. It's nuts. And Geto got revenge though.
Yeah. This was almost everything I could have hoped. I was really hoping that Okada would loosen up a lot more and just like play it for the comedy, but he played it pretty straight.
He did himself some good comedy too.
Yeah, he definitely he was a little looser. He did have his spots here and there, but I just kind of like you could see glimpses of it during the second night of the American G1 special. He was really starting to loosen up and have a good time and be like almost the top comedy draw of the match, if he wasn't upstaged by Ospreay. But
I say it was definitely Will Ospreay was the answer to that, or exactly. Bad Luck Fale.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was kind of hoping he'd go more into that direction, and I mean maybe later in his career he will, but just sort of I was hoping for a little bit more out of him in the comedy direction.
Still fantastic work. And then we had the best match of the night. Minoru Suzuki versus Kenny Omega.
See.
And of course, Kenny got his win. But he had to earn it because God knows Suzuki worked that leg.
Yeah, I do still have a problem with everybody in the world needing to sell a massive leg injury for the majority of their career. Like, if it's getting to the point where really if Omega has to sell a leg injury one more goddamn time, I swear, it seems to be a thing that he'll do for like 5 months straight and then not do for a month, and then it's back on that knee injury that doesn't exist.
I personally didn't have a problem with the knee injury angle in a match with Suzuki, because Suzuki does work the leg between the kicks and a lot of leg submission holds, so you can work that. My problem is more that the selling is inconsistent in the sense that, like, Kenny will be down, selling his knee, like no one's business, and he'll get up, he'll hobble a little bit, and then he'll hit the trigger knee.
Yeah.
And then he's back down selling it because he used the knee that he did the trigger knee with. It's like, why are you dumb? Why am I supposed to believe your character is dumb?
Yeah, it's there's a lot of theatrics going on there, and I'm tired of it.
It is literally the one thing I don't like about Kenny Omega is the knee selling, because he's a fantastic. I don't think he's the best athlete necessarily, but he's the best, if not the best, top 5 worker in the world. He is a fantastic storyteller in the ring. His psychology grasp is great. His promos are freaking awesome. I believe everything about the character. The only thing is just that knee selling. It's like he'll do it constantly where it's like down, yeah, now I'm going to hit you with a knee. Like, I'm going to hit you with a move that definitively, obviously will hurt the thing I am selling.
Yeah. Use the other knee, for fuck's sake.
Use the other knee or use some different offense. Like, you got 2 arms, do some striking with the arms, it's just... It's like... And it's not just an Omega thing, because honestly, this can apply to a number of workers in WWE, New Japan, ROH, Global Force Wrestling, Lucha Underground, basically everywhere, where it's you're selling something and then you're not selling something. And that's the problem. Like, for example, you're selling that knee like your ACL is ripped out, and then you're going to hit a perfect tiger suplex or dragon suplex and go for that. It's like, that wouldn't work. It just would not work if this were real. And that's kind of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just him, but he is a reasonably large effect on that one. That's really about all I have to say on this match. It was good, very good. Really we should cover the run-ins a little bit.
No.
So Taichi, Desperado, and Taka Michinoku ran in to do the beatdown on Omega, and we were. Admittedly, there's a weird thing about this because Tama Tonga was at the show. He had worked a match earlier, obviously, and he did not come out.
Correct.
Bit of a weird thing from like Bullet Club, supposed to be this like tight knit faction and stuff. I would have had him out there myself, unless you're going to tease some kind of friction, I guess. But I wouldn't even really do that friction. I'm just I don't know. That's the only reason I can think to not have him out there. But Fale and Chase Owens did come out to try and make the save, and succeeded. Well, Owens really didn't. It was really Fale.
Yeah, Owens came out and got buried immediately, and he's like, "Oh, somebody get Fale."
Well, in fairness, Owens got beat up 3-on-1. I wouldn't consider it a burial, but it's just like going in there. It's like, Chase Owens, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I mean, they did have Owens beat up on Taichi pretty good out in the crowd, so like he got his comeuppance.
Oh, Taichi, you.
But like that's kind of my thing is like, so you have Suzuki Gun with the attack with, I don't believe like Taichi or Taka Michinoku work the card. Like they had no matches, and they're out there for the interference. And Bullet Club's got a guy who was in a match not coming out. Just a bit weird.
Correct.
But, you know what? They neutralized it fine. I mean, it worked out because, of course, Fale and Owens were apparently enough to do a 2v3 versus the lighter members of Suzuki Gun. Which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And, then Omega managed to take care of business, take the win, cut a cool promo at the end in full Sephiroth mode, and that took us out. He also told the crowd to shut up. That was pretty good.
He did, yeah. He got them all jazzed up when he spoke a little Japanese, and they shut up.
Still a heel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, a good, not as good as Night 1, because frankly, just the undercard wasn't quite up to the par of Night 1, and we had, I think, slightly worse matches for the actual block. Like Suzuki, Omega, fantastic. Could not stop laughing during Yano and Okada. Like we said, Elgin versus Tama Tonga. It's a weird one for me. Like it just something just feels disconnected.
Yeah, it just didn't quite mesh. It was still a darn fine match, but it wasn't. There's something not on.
Well, I'm pretty sure you could have a darn fine match with one leg Michael Elgin. I mean, like that's how good he is.
Yes.
And the Kojima and Juice Robinson match was fine. It was a good story told. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it, but it is, Satoshi Kojima at this point is just not really capable of doing much more than 2.5 to maybe 3.25 stars.
Phrasing.
Yes, my phone is going off.
It's not me texting. I don't know where my phone is. I think it's my pants. I'm not wearing any pants, by the way.
He's not wearing any pants. Right. Well, I'm not wearing pants either. I'm wearing shorts, but
I'm not even wearing shorts.
That's comforting.
I'm wearing underwear. I mean, I'm not a barbarian.
But we head forward into night 3, which, from what you read off, sounds like it's going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah. Just what else? Is there anything I missed? I think I hit all the tournament matches. Anything awesome in terms of the undercard? Yoshihashi and Omega. Oh no, sorry. Takahashi and Omega versus Owens and Tamatonga. Interesting. I'll give you the 6-man tag with Toru Yano and Scrubs. Suzuki and Taichi versus Bushi and Sonata. And Finley and Juice versus Takahashi and Evil.
That'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking forward to that, and we'll hit you back after we've watched that.
For reals.
And of course, as always, guys, come on, there's a sign that says get off his lawn. Just get off the lawn.
Actually, I paved it. I'm just paving it now.
You paved the lawn now?
Paving it.
Look what you've done. You guys have made him pave his lawn.
I'm getting charged for parking. New streams of income.
Need more income. Require more parking income. Anyways, we'll shout at you later.